Good morning, students. Today we are going to study neurotoxins. It's coming under Unit 10 of your Human Physiology class. Let's go through some definitions of neurotoxins. They are the substances that alters the structure or function of the nervous system. According to Bill in 2021, they are the substances either naturally occurring or created, impairing the normal function of central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. These neurotoxins are absorbed through inhalation, ingestion, skin contact, or injection. Now let's see some characteristics of neurotoxins. Majority of these neurotoxins are of external origin. That's why they are termed exogenous. And there are some internal origin neurotoxins also. They are termed endogenous. Examples for endogenous neurotoxins are nitric oxide and glutamate. Another characteristics is that the extent to which a neurotoxin affects nerve function depends on the toxicity of that substance, individual's age and health, level and frequency of contact with that neurotoxic chemical. The same substances can have both toxic and therapeutic effect at different concentration levels. Example, vitamin A and vitamin B6. They are very vital to a healthy diet. However, they become neurotoxic in large doses. And there is some puffer fish, they carry tetrodotoxin. It's an extremely potent inhibitor of voltage-gated sodium channels on neurons. At the same time, fugu, a dish prepared from this puffer fish, is very tasty and a traditional culinary delicacy in Japan. And when inhaled, less than 1 microgram of botulinum toxin, Botox, it's lethal to humans. At the same time, this Botox is used for a variety of medicinal and cosmetic purposes. And there are a lot of chemotherapy drugs, antipsychotic drugs. They are also having neurotoxic effect when they are given in large doses. And see the action of neurotoxins in our body. They cause malfunction of the neurons by disrupting interneuron communication. They can inhibit the neuron cellular process, membrane depolarization mechanism. Thus, they can prevent the communication between the synapse or between two neurons. They cause neuron excitotoxicity, apoptosis or programmed cell death, glial cell damage or covering membrane of neurons. And there are a lot of large-scale effects of central nervous system, such as intellectual disability, persistent memory impairments, epilepsy, and dementia. And in the peripheral nervous system area, these neurotoxin cause neuropathy or myopathy. And alcohol consumption is considered as causing a temporary effect on our brain. At the same time, lead poison is causing irreversible or a permanent effect on the human being. And there are some neurotoxins, they act within seconds. Example, Botox. And some of the neurotoxins take years to get in action. There are certain neurotoxins, they are highly potent and have been developed into chemical weapons. Example is sarin. It is classified as a weapon of mass destruction. This sarin gas can kill a person within 10 minutes of exposure. Children, elderly persons, liver and kidney patients, they are vulnerable to neurotoxins more than the normal human beings. Prenatal, postnatal, and during early childhood kids, these neurotoxins affect their developing brain, causing functional deficits. This is because of the fact that placenta cannot prevent many toxins from passing from the mother to fetus. And some of the chemicals are transferred through the breast milk also. Now, let's see how our body is protected from these neurotoxins naturally. Two mechanisms is acting on. One is blood-brain barrier system, another one is choroid plexus system. In the blood-brain barrier system, that's a barrier between brain and the blood vessels, that membrane. That can prevent toxins and other adverse compounds to reach into the brain from the blood. And astrocytes, they are some special cells, protective cells, they surround the capillaries. And they can absorb only nutrients from the blood. They won't absorb any toxins. Thus, they can effectively isolate the brain from chemical insults. Another one is choroid plexus. These choroid plexus are the vascularized layers of tissue found in the third ventricle, fourth ventricle, and lateral ventricles. Ventricles are the cavities. These cavities produce cerebrospinal fluid with the help of the ependymal cells. The CSF helps in the selective passage of ions and nutrition. They won't select any toxins to absorb or enter into the brain. Thus, they can trap the heavy metals also. So, these choroid plexus also maintain a strictly regulated environment for brain and spinal cord. But there are some small compounds. By inhibiting the action of astrocytes, they are penetrating into the brain and inducing the damage, neurotoxic damage. These are some examples of neurotoxins: lead, ethanol, glutamate, nitric oxide, Botox or botulinum toxin, tetanus toxin or tetrodotoxin, arsenic, chloropyrifos, DDT, etc. And I have given lot of effects of these all examples. How lead is acting in our body. Lead interfere with the developing brain, resulting in the functional impairment. Ethanol is causing temporary damage to our brain, and there is a fetal alcohol syndrome. It is characterized by the brain damage and developmental disability in children, occurring in the born to the alcoholic mothers. Glutamate. Glutamate neurotoxicity is GNT. It is characterized by an increasing damage of cell components, including mitochondria, and that will lead to the death of that cells. Nitric oxide. Excess nitric oxide is in part responsible for GNT. Botox, already mentioned the action of Botox in our body. They can prevent the release of neurotransmitter acetylcholine from axon endings. Paralysis is occurring because of Botox. And 2 nanograms per kilogram body weight of Botox is lethal. That means if you are 50 kilo, then 100 nanograms of Botox is the lethal dose of Botox for you. It's enough. 1000 nanogram to kill you. Tetrodotoxin inhibits the neurotransmission of inhibitory interneurons. So spastic paralysis will occur. Arsenic causes reduction in the brain weight, reduction in number of glia and neurons. Chlorpyrifos causes inhibiting the activity of acetylcholinesterase enzyme that will prolong the nerve transmission. So neurotoxic symptoms, and that is also lethal in high doses. DDT, dichlorodiphenyl trichloroethane. It is potentially harmful to neurons during growth and development, as it is causing cognitive, behavioral, and memory disruption. This is a picture about Minamata disease. Let's think about the future perspective of neurotoxins. In this modern era, we are in close contact with a lot of chemicals. Majority of them will be having neurotoxic effect, but we never tested for their neurotoxic effect. And daily, a lot of chemicals are introduced to our lives, new and new. So there is a lot of opportunities in the research field to find out neurotoxic effect of all the chemicals we will be having close touch is before your future career and academic perspective. Here I have given some sites for your reading and watching purpose about the neurotoxins. And my dear students, after going through these slides, you have to answer my questions and submit your answer in your classroom. My questions are: what are neurotoxins? What are the major characteristics of neurotoxin? How neurotoxins work in our body? And you have to enlist some neurotoxins and their effects. These are about neurotoxins. Thank you. Have a nice day.